Hey, welcome to Firescale Audiobooks. If you enjoy our audiobooks, please consider subscribing to the channel. Also, feel free to share your review in the comments section below.
It had to be said that Lin Lei was the truth. Song Xiaoxia and Song Yi were indeed related. They could be considered cousins. Song Xiaoxia also sized up Lin Lei. Her facial features were exquisite, her figure was exquisite, and her long hair was tied into a high ponytail. Was this Song Yi's wife? Didn't she hear from Song Yi that she was a big fatty? She was much better than Song Yi. Song Yi's face was more delicate and pretty. Even when she took off her clothes, they were not as big as hers. When she lay down, it was as straight as a flatland. Usually, she would probably sew something into her underwear, or else she would not be able to stand up at all. This was the first time she went to her house. She was there to apply an egg and milk mask on her face. When she saw it, she even showed off the milk to her. The few of them nodded at each other. It could be considered that they had gotten to know each other. Lin Lei hung the clothes up. It would probably take about an hour. When the time came, she would come down to collect them. It would be faster if the weather was good and the clothes were cool. I heard that Song Yi is going to be promoted to deputy director. He might be the youngest deputy director, and he's so good-looking. Zhang Qin walked to Lin Lei's side. As she hung the clothes up, she joked with Lin Lei. Lin Lei was in a good mood when she heard that, but her face did not reveal a single bit of it. And I don't know. You'll know once the appointment is made. I'll go back first. You guys take your time washing. After saying that, Lin Lei turned around and went back. She was not familiar with them, so she really did not know what to talk about. She might as well go back and lie down for a while. Zhang Qin saw that Lin Lei had gone far away and looked at Song Xiaoxia, who was washing clothes at the side. Didn't I hear that your sister and Song Yi were getting along? Song Xiaoxia got up and poured out the dirty water that she had washed. Then, she turned on the tap to get some water. She took a deep breath and said, I'm not too sure either. Last time when my sister was chatting, she boasted that Song Yi had hugged her. Who knows if she was telling the truth or not? Song Xiaoxia was jealous that Song Yi was born from the same grandfather. She was so lucky to be able to be a nurse, so she had to live in the countryside. She had been working since she was young and could barely read. If only her father had been brought back by her grandfather when he returned to the city. Song Yi had asked her to inquire about Song Yi, but she had never asked on her behalf. Why should she marry better than herself? And why should she tarnish her reputation? Lin Lei did not know that such a big scandal had happened after she left. She felt a little tired when she returned home, so she changed into her pajamas and fell asleep after reading for a while. She slept so much because she had been living in the apocalypse for 10 years, so she had to be vigilant every day. Sometimes, it was common to not sleep for 3 days and 3 nights. When she woke up, she saw that it was almost 11 o'clock. She got up, washed her face, and then went to collect her clothes. There was no one left to hang the clothes at this point. Lin Lei put away the clothes and bed sheets and was about to go back when she saw from the corner of her eye that Song Yi had returned. Song Yi saw Lin Lei and ran over hurriedly. He hugged Lin Lei and spun her around. As he spun, he said, Wife, I've been promoted. Lin Lei blushed when he hugged her. Then, she heard him say that he had been promoted to deputy director and was happy for Song Yi. However, after spinning around a few times, she felt a little dizzy. Hubby, quickly put me down. My head is a little dizzy. When Song Yi heard his wife say that she was dizzy, he immediately put her down. Wife, are you feeling better? It's all my fault for being too happy. Lin Lei saw that Song Yi was so happy that he was like a child who wanted to praise him. Idiot, let's go home. I'll make dumplings for you to eat. I even made some pickles. Song Yi nodded and took the things from Lin Lei's hands. He held Lin Lei's hand with the other and went home. The two of them did not notice a pair of jealous eyes looking at them from afar. Song Yi felt that she was always one step behind. She had just learned that Song Yi had been promoted and she had run over to look for him. She wanted to express her feelings to him and tell him that she could wait for his divorce, but she was just about to catch up. When she saw the scene of jealousy in front of her, she knew that he had hesitated when he got married. After all, divorce was not easy. She was not bad. There were several men with good conditions who had expressed their feelings to her in secret, but she always compared Song Yi to them. She would always remember the first time she met Song Yi. At that time, she was stunned. She had not seen such an attractive man in the factory for a few years. Therefore, she, who had never made a mistake that day. She was so nervous that she made a few mistakes, but she could not find any blood vessels. At that time, she was so anxious that she was sweating profusely. The doctor beside her was a little impatient. He smiled gently and said that it was fine. He felt that he was interested in her. Why did Lin Lei appear? If only Lin Lei was not here. Song Yi walked to the health clinic angrily. At the door, she saw Li Jian, who was always looking for her. Song Yi was not in the mood to pay attention to him. She used the key to open the door and enter the house. There were no doctors and 2 nurses on duty at noon. Li Jian saw that Song Yi seemed to have been bullied somewhere. He was unwilling to leave just like that, so he followed her in. Xiaoyi, what's wrong with you? Are you sick from looking so listless? Li Jian entered the house and asked with concern what was wrong with Song Yi. When Song Yi heard Li Jian's words, she really thought that it would be great if this person was Song Yi. Li Jian was already married, so he was also attracted to her. If Lin Lei did not appear, Song Yi would definitely choose her. The more she thought about it, the angrier she got. She urgently needed to vent something, so she casually pushed the things on the table to the ground. Li Jian was shocked. Song Yi was usually very gentle. Even if he came to annoy her, she would also whisper softly. Li Jian hugged Song Yi, not letting her go crazy. He kept asking, "What's wrong? What happened?" Song Yi could not move and had nowhere to vent, so she shouted, "I want to let Lin Lei die. Why should she marry Song Yi? I fell in love with Song Yi first, but she snatched him away. Why is God so unfair?" When Li Jian heard this, he was very unhappy. How was he worse than Song Yi? His looks could be considered pretty good in the factory. In the past, it was because he was married that he did not have any advantages. Song Yi liked him and could only watch from the side. Now that Song Yi was married, not only did he snatch his promotion opportunity, but he also snatched the woman he liked. His expression became uglier and uglier, and the more he thought about it, the angrier he became. Also, Song Yi was a slut. He circled around her every day, and she could not even see him. Li Jian was as evil as if his guts were growing. "If I help you deal with that Lin Lei, how will you repay me?" When Song Yi heard this, she stopped struggling and killing with Li Jian dare, but she didn't want to miss this opportunity. There might not be another chance in the future. "What do you want? Money? I have 200 yuan to give to you. Is that enough?" When Li Jian heard 200 yuan, money was good, but it couldn't be compared to people. He wanted both people and money. When he thought of this, he immediately turned around and closed the door. "I only want you. Will you give it to me?" After saying that, he walked towards Song Yi, taking off his clothes as he walked. Song Yi's mind echoed Li Jian's words. Li Jian walked towards her. Every step he took, she would push him until they fell on the hospital bed. Li Jian saw this and felt that Song Yi must have agreed, so he hurriedly took off her clothes. When Song Yi's reaction was that if she lost her innocence, it would be impossible for her and Song Yi to get together. Then, most of her clothes were taken off by Li Jian. Song Yi wanted to push Li Jian away, but he wasn't willing to give in. Both of his hands were firmly pressed down by Li Jian. Everything happened naturally. Song Yi knew that it was too late, and tears of regret flowed from the corners of her eyes. Lin Lei and Song Yi returned home and told him to wash his face. Then, they went to make dumplings. Lin Lei was afraid that Song Yi would be able to eat, so she specially prepared to make more. Song Yi washed his face and came out. He looked at Lin Lei, who was making dumplings for him. At this moment, he felt that he was the happiest man in the world. With a wife like this, what more could he ask for? Lin Lei had made a total of nearly 100 dumplings. She felt that it was almost time to light the fire and start cooking. The leek-filled dumplings were very beautiful when they were first out of the pot. There was a green tinge in the white, which made people feel very appetizing at first glance. She took out the finished kimchi and placed it on the plate. Lin Lei gently clapped her hands. She felt that she had completed the task, and she could finally start eating. She shouted into the room, "Hubby, it's time to serve the dumplings. Song Yi was not used to it at first, but when he regained his senses, he immediately went in to serve the dumplings. Looking at the white and green dumplings, he had an appetite. There were also these 2 plates of kimchi. They looked pretty good, and his stomach could not help but make a sound. Lin Lei, who was behind him, could not help but snicker at this idiot when she heard the sound. If you're hungry, then eat. I've eaten some of these before, so you could try to eat as much as you can. Song Yi did not stand on ceremony when he heard Lin Lei's words and started eating. The chives were very fresh with the shrimp. When they were served with the kimchi that Lin Lei had made, Song Yi could not stop eating. Lin Lei used to hear her father playing around in her ear. Back then, your mother was the one with the best dishes and conquered them first. I'll never forget her beautiful expression when she cooks. The dumplings and vegetables on the table kept decreasing. Only when Song Yi ate the last one did he feel that his stomach couldn't fit anymore. He looked at the table and saw that he had eaten all of them. He realized that his appetite was growing. His wife's cooking must be too delicious. Otherwise, how could it grow so fast? Wife, I ate all of them. They were too delicious. I ate them all without realizing it. Lin Lei watched Song Yi eat at a speed of less than 20 minutes, and he ate nearly 100 dumplings. He was practically a modern-day glutton. Back in the day, she loved to watch a variety show where the Glutton King performed. The 10-person meal only took half an hour to finish. At that time, her expression was horrified. She had unknowingly gone too far. It's okay. I've already said it. I've eaten them before. I'll give these to you to eat. I'm very happy that you can finish them. By the way, are we going out in the afternoon? Song Yi felt that his appetite was growing for the sake of his stomach. It was not good to be a vegetarian. When he went out later, he would have to find someone to kill the 3 pigs. He would let his wife cook meat to eat. This way, his appetite might be reduced. In the afternoon, let the canteen cart send us out. We have to go shopping. According to the rules, my promotion has to be treated. Lin Lei calculated in her heart that she did not need to buy vegetables or meat. She just needed to go out and buy some ingredients and fish. It did not cost much. There were plenty of them in the rice space. No matter how much they could eat and how much they could eat, she had to organize this party well for Song Yi. Okay, I got it. You lie down first. You don't need to buy vegetables, rice, or meat. You just need to buy some seasoning and fish. Song Yi stood up and tidied up the things on the table before washing them in the kitchen. Li Jian kept pushing Song Yi to the clinic to quickly open the door. He was afraid that if he was seen by outsiders, it wouldn't be good for him. It wouldn't matter if he ate it in his mouth. His figure wasn't as good as his wife's. Seeing that it was about time, he got up and put on his clothes to leave. Song Yi pulled Li Jian, who was putting on his clothes. When will you do what you promised me? If you don't do it, I'll sue you. Li Jian put down Song Yi's hand. He wanted to sleep with her, but she wanted him to kill people for her. That wife of his had been with him for many years. How many people would he have to kill? Don't worry. I'll help you when I find an opportunity. I can't handle a woman like Lin Lei. Am I still a man? Li Jian finished putting on his clothes and left. Song Yi knew what she had lost. She would never be innocent again. Lin Lei, I want you to die. I want you to taste the pain I've suffered. If it weren't for you, how could she have experienced such a cruel thing? Lin Lei had made a total of almost 100 dumplings. She felt that it was about time to light the fire and start cooking. The dumplings with leek stuffing looked very good when they were first cooked. There was a hint of green in the white, making one feel very appetizing at first glance. She took out the finished kimchi and placed it on the plate. Lin Lei gently clapped her hands. She felt that she had completed the task and could finally start eating. She shouted into the room, "Hubby, it's time to serve the dumplings." Song Yi was not used to it first, but when he regained his senses, he immediately went in to serve the dumplings. Looking at the white and green dumplings, he felt very appetizing. There were also these 2 plates of pickles. They looked pretty good, and his stomach couldn't help but make a sound. Lin Lei, who was behind him, couldn't help but snicker at this idiot when she heard the sound. If you're hungry, then eat. I've eaten some of these before, so try to eat as much as you can. Song Yi didn't stand on ceremony when he heard what Lin Lei said and started eating. The leeks were very fresh when paired with the shrimp. When paired with Lin Lei's pickles, Song Yi couldn't stop eating. In the past, Lin Lei had heard her father playing around in her ear. Back then, your mother was the one with the best dishes, so I conquered her first. I'll never forget her beautiful expression when she cooks. The number of dumplings and dishes on the table kept decreasing. Only when Song Yi ate the last one did he feel that his stomach could not fit anymore. He looked at the table and saw that he had eaten all of them. He realized that his appetite was growing. His wife must have cooked too delicious. Otherwise, how could it grow so fast? Wife, I ate all of them. They were too delicious. I ate them all unknowingly. Lin Lei looked at Song Yi's eating speed. In less than 20 minutes, he had eaten close to 100 dumplings. He was simply a modern glutton. Back then, she also loved to watch a variety show where the Glutton King performed. The food for 10 people only took half an hour to be eaten up. At that time, her expression was horrified. Unknowingly, she had gone too far. It's okay. I've already said it. I've already eaten before. These are for you to eat. I'm very happy that you can finish them. All right. Are we going out in the afternoon? Song Yi felt that his appetite was growing for the sake of his stomach. It wasn't good to be a vegetarian. Later, when he went out, he would have to find someone to kill the 3 pigs. He would let his wife cook meat to eat. This way, his appetite might be reduced. In the afternoon, let the canteen cart send us out. We have to go shopping. According to the rules, I have to treat you to a meal when I get promoted. Lin Lei calculated in her heart that she didn't need to buy vegetables or meat. She just needed to go out and buy some ingredients and fish. She didn't need to spend much money. There was plenty of food in the rice space. No matter how much they could eat and how much they could eat, she had to organize this party well for Song Yi. Okay, I got it. You lie down first. You don't need to buy vegetables, rice meat. You just need to buy some seasoning and fish. Song Yi stood up and tidied up the things on the table and washed them in the kitchen. Li Jian kept making Song Yi go to the health center to open the door quickly. He was afraid that if outsiders saw it, it would affect him badly. It would be fine if he ate it in his mouth. His figure was not as good as his wife's. He closed his eyes tightly and did not make a sound. He was no different from a dead fish lying on the bed. Seeing that it was about time, he got up, put on his clothes, and was about to leave. Song Yi reached out to stop him. After some pestering, he finally agreed to fulfill his promise. Song Yi looked at the closed door. Everything that happened today was all because of Lin Lei. She must take revenge. If only Lin Lei could hear Song Yi's thoughts at this moment, she would definitely ask loudly, "Who the F***CK do you blame for your own death?" Song Yi put on her clothes one by one. She hated Li Jian in her heart. At that time, she had almost pushed him away, but he insisted on taking her. She had to force him to kill Lin Lei. Otherwise, wouldn't her innocence be sacrificed in vain? Lin Lei was very happy that this was her first time going out with Song Yi. In her space, she found a skirt and changed into it. It was a blue checkered skirt. The fabric was made of thin cotton. It was very soft to the touch, and it was normal. It was just enough to cover the knees and match with a pair of small leather shoes. The top of the hair was tied up, and the hair, starting from the ears, was let down. When Lin Lei came out of the room, it was as if she was a different person. It made Song Yi's eyes light up. His wife was really beautiful. The more he looked at her, the more beautiful she became. Song Yi looked at the time and brought Lin Lei out at almost 1 o'clock. The canteen was closed at 1 o'clock. He had to bring back a lot of things to borrow a car. Without a car, there was no way to bring it back. "Old Zhao, come out for a while." Song Yi shouted into the canteen. If he lowered his voice, it could not be heard from inside. Therefore, he could only shout. Besides, they were friends, so the other party wouldn't mind. In less than a minute, a bald, fat man wearing blue clothes and a white apron came out. He smiled and came to their side. "I thought someone was calling me." "So it's you, kid. I heard that you've been promoted during dinner. I'm here to congratulate you." Song Yi went forward and patted old Zhao's shoulder. "This is my wife, Lin Lei." Then he said to Lin Lei, "This is old Zhao managing the cafeteria. You guys should get to know each other." Old Zhao sized up Lin Lei. Didn't he hear that Song Yi had married a village wife? This outfit was even better looking than the girls in the factory. It seemed that rumors were indeed the scariest thing. He couldn't keep listening to rumors in the future. Song-yi, sister-in-law, is not bad-looking. You really have good taste. Song-yi's proud expression was revealed. In his heart, his wife was the most beautiful. Old Zhao can use it to pick up the car. I need to go out for a while. Today, I owe you a favor. If there's anything in the future, you can speak. Okay, here are the keys. Without thinking, old Zhao handed the keys to Song-yi. Then we'll leave first. After saying that, he led Lin Lei to the back of the canteen, where the car was parked. It was an old-fashioned big truck. It was very old, but it was very clean. Song-yi's driving skills were not bad, but Lin Lei did not feel too bumpy. When they were almost in the city, he parked the car by the roadside. Wife, get the wild boar out so that we can find someone to kill it in the city. Lin Lei looked around to see that there was no one around. She got in the trunk and placed the wild boar in the trunk from a space. The 3 wild boars seemed to have just died, and their bodies were still warm. Lin Lei jumped out of the car and nodded to Song-yi, indicating that she was ready before getting into the car. Song-yi directly drove the car to a small slaughterhouse and agreed with the people that it would cost 3 yuan to kill a pig. A pig that had its blood removed and its skin removed would only weigh about 100 jin of meat. The money was sufficient. The pig's head and feet were cleaned very cleanly. Hubby, we need to plan how many people we will treat to a meal. Lin Lei looked at the pork that had been prepared and planned to calculate the amount to be used for the night. Including the leader, there should be around 60 people. Song-yi thought for a while and added, make 3 meat, 2 vegetables, and a cold dish. What do you think, wife? That's 6 tables of food. Prepare 6 fish. Make a braised pork with soy sauce, pork head, fried chives and eggs, and stew an eggplant. I'll make the pickles for the cold dish. Lin Lei quickly decided on the menu. Song-yi nodded to indicate that it was okay. After the pig was slaughtered, the other party was responsible for sorting and packing it. This saved them a lot of trouble. In short, it was easy to get things done when there was money. After loading the car, Song-yi drove to the market. Lin Lei was looking at things in the front, while Song-yi followed behind to pay for the things. It was not tiring to work with men and women. After buying all sorts of things, she spent nearly 50 yuan. Lin Lei lamented that she really could not do without money. She had to find a time to sell the food in her space. Living in poverty was not the life she wanted. After buying everything, Lin Lei put half of the pork, fish, and eggs into her space. After everything was done, the idea of selling food popped up again. Honey, let's find a place to sell space food and vegetables. With money, we can do whatever we want in the future. Wife, do you have a lot of things in your space? If you only have a few hundred caddies, just sell it to old Zhao. Song-yi felt that there were not many things, so it was safer to sell it to an acquaintance. Contact with outsiders would cause unnecessary trouble. In this day and age, as little trouble as possible. Of course, if there were too many things, then he could only think of another way. A few hundred caddies. Now it's already tens of thousands of caddies. It's increasing by a few thousand a day. I don't know the exact number anymore, Lin Lei said helplessly. Song-yi was shocked. What? You have so much food in your space. I thought it would only be a few hundred caddies at most. Song-yi did not expect his daughter-in-law's space to have so many things. It seemed that he could only go to the black market. He could not sell so many things on the surface. Wife, does the space have anything to put on makeup? We can only put on makeup and look. We can go to the underground exchange and sell it. Song-yi thought that he had to put on makeup. He could not let too many people know his identity. He also had to pay attention to his wife's safety. He could not stay by his wife's side all the time. The fewer people who knew, the better. There's an underground exchange here. The space has makeup and clothes. What kind of person do you want to dress up as? It's best to dress up differently from now. The less you look like, the better. Song-yi thought that it was best to take a weapon to defend himself. He added to Lin Lei, Wife, pick a weapon to defend yourself. When necessary, we can escape. Lin Lei was completely occupied. She took out all the things she needed from her space. Men dressed better than women. They could change their identities by wearing a suit and sunglasses. She could not enter as a woman. According to her body shape, she could change into a man. Lin Lei put on her makeup first. She washed her face, tied up her hair, and put on a hat. After changing her clothes, she chose a dark black suit. Looking in the mirror, she looked like a different person compared to usual. She took out the clothes, pants, and shoes that she had chosen for Song E and showed them to Song E. It was the first time Song E had seen such high-end clothes. He took off his clothes and changed into them. Immediately, he turned into a different person. He took off his work clothes and changed into this set of clothes. He looked very noble. He looked too much like the young master of a rich family. "Hubby, you look so good. Can we wear this?" Lin Lei felt that the heavens had been kind to her. Although she had experienced the end of the world for 10 years, they had to compensate a top-notch man like her. Song Yi felt that it was a little exaggerated to dress like this, but it was not impossible to dress like this. Only then would one look like a rich man. In the past few years, the country had been short of food, so food was equal to money. Only big families had money, so they hoarded a large amount of food. As for the vegetables in the space, they would be sold wholesale to the market. If Song Yi wanted to do something, he had to consider everything that could happen later. Song Yi looked at his careless wife and said helplessly, "This is the only way now. If there is any danger in the space, the first thing you do is hide in the space. I will think of a way to escape. You have to believe in my strength." Lin Lei nodded, indicating that she understood. He realized that with Song Yi, there was almost no need to think about anything else. This feeling of being cared for by someone was very good. Song Yi and Lin Lei entered the black market uneasily. After entering, someone asked, "What are you selling?" After Song Yi said that he would sell the grain, the guide was brought to the place and both parties discussed the deal. Lin Lei used the excuse to leave early and went to the place where the deal was to change the grain out of the space. After the deal was done, she looked at the 10,000 yuan in her hand. It was like a dream. She thought it was very dangerous, but she did not expect it to be so simple. Lin Lei did not expect the matter to be resolved so easily. With this 10,000 yuan, she could buy a lot of things. After all, the current prices were very low. Lin Lei was still in a daze when she suddenly bumped into me. Only then did she realize that more than 30 people had suddenly appeared in front of her. From the looks of it, they did not come with good intentions. The first thing Song Yi did was to protect Lin Lei behind him. Looking at so many people, although they did not have guns, they all had knives in their hands. Lin Lei was touched to see Song Yi protect her when he was in danger, but she wouldn't be a burden to him. Lin Lei pushed Song Yi away and stood next to him. She said loudly to the other side, "Are you guys going to cheat us?" The leader of the group was a bald fat man. He sized up the two men in front of him, one tall and one thin. It felt like they were two prodigal young masters who were secretly selling things in the house. If they weren't secretly selling, how could there be only two people selling so many things? This is little brother's first time here. Are you here at the underground exchange? There are rules here. Leave half of the things you see. The bald man decided to be polite first, then speak of the rules with a smile. Lin Lei sized up this group of people. They did not have much killing intent. She guessed that they were trying to steal money. From what she heard, they only needed to give half of the money. This was the first time she had encountered such a ridiculous robbery. Lin Lei said with her hands behind her back, "What if we don't give it to you? Do you want to fight?" Hearing this, the 30 or so people across them looked at each other before looking at the bald man. The bald man did not expect Lin Lei to ask with such an imposing manner. Could it be that he had met a tough nut to crack? He had been listening to the conversation between his wife and the bald man. Song Yi also felt that these people were trying to intimidate him. How could Robert talk like that? However, if they encountered a place they were afraid of, they would probably leave with money. "If you don't leave half of the money, I'll ask them to beat you up." The bald man was so angry that he shouted. He had already said some tough words, but the two brats in front of him were completely indifferent. This put the bald man in a difficult position. "Boss, are you really going? What if you hurt someone?" The subordinate next to him asked, thinking that if someone died, it would be a big crime. When Lin Lei heard this, she could not help but be happy. She stood to the side and waved at them. She wanted them to come at her with all their might. It just so happened that she wanted to practice her skills. This time, the bald man was angered. He shouted at the short men beside him to attack. After saying that, he kicked them. The short men could not charge at Lin Lei. Song Yi was worried that his wife would come over to help. Lin Lei shook her head. Song Yi wanted to help when his wife could not beat her. Lin Lei kicked and fell over her shoulders. In less than 10 minutes, the dozen or so people who rushed over had all fallen. The people behind did not dare to come over. Lin Lei glared. A few people behind put down their things and ran away. The ground was filled with wails. The bald man did not know whether to leave or stay. In the end, he actually knelt down and shouted, "Little brother, we were wrong. We don't dare. Let's go." The corner of Song Yi's mouth twitched when he saw this. He did not expect his wife's skills to be so good. This group of robbers were also very funny. Lin Lei walked in front of the bald man and questioned loudly, "How many people have you robbed? How many are we?" The bald man was so scared that he didn't dare to stand up. He lowered his head. "My name is Zheng Cheng. I'm a hooligan of this generation. I've been here for a few years. I've never robbed many people. You're the fifth." Lin Lei was happy when she heard that. How stupid were the first few people? They had been cheated by them. She picked up a brick from the ground. "If you want to live, tell me what you've done before. How much did you rob? Otherwise, if I hit you with this brick, you'll either die or be crippled." Lin Lei lightly waved her hand at the brick. The brick shattered. Zheng Cheng was scared. If he had known earlier, he would not have provoked these two kings of hell. There was still one man who did not make a move, who knew what kind of skills he had. Today, he had kicked an iron plate. The first four did not have much money, so I just robbed them. It was less than 400 yuan in total. Zheng Cheng's mouth trembled as he replied. Lin Lei smiled. They could still rob money like this. Although it was not much, they probably did not hurt anyone by robbing like this. Lin Lei sighed. People in this era were simple. Before the apocalypse, there were people who robbed taxis and killed people for 100 yuan. It was a common occurrence. It seemed that these people weren't bad. She could try to help them and solve her own problems. "Hubby, what do you think of these people?" Lin Lei pulled Song Yi to the side to discuss. She was used to asking Song Yi about everything. "We can use them, but if we're close friends, we'll see about it in the future." Song Yi was mainly worried about his wife's safety. Even if his wife had the ability to defy the heavens, it was hard to guarantee that she would miscalculate. It seemed that the recruitment plan had to be brought forward. Otherwise, there would be no one to use it. Lin Lei nodded. She took out 100 yuan for the envelope and handed it to Zheng Cheng. "Why are you giving me money?" Zheng Cheng was completely frightened by Lin Lei's imposing manner. "I'm not giving you this money for nothing. You treat your brother's illness and then go rent 2 shops for me. If you want to sell food and vegetables, remember that it's renting, not robbing. If you lack money, I'll give it to you the next time we meet." Lin Lei thought about it and tried to sell them bit by bit, not too much. In the future, she would open shops like this everywhere. The more shops there were, the less eye-catching they would be. After a few years, the country's food crisis would be over. "Then how can I contact you if I find them?" Zheng Cheng did not expect such a good thing to happen. He thought that his brother had been beaten for nothing and that he had to pay for their medical expenses. "I'll wait for you at this place on Sunday. Don't play any tricks." Lin Lei looked around. This place was really nice. Basically, not many people came. If he brought people to look for trouble next time, she would not mind having some blood on her hands. She was not a saint. She was saying that God must have let her be reborn for the apocalypse, because no one would stop the apocalypse from erupting 20 years later. Many people would still die. She needed people to find the energy stone. She believed that there would be a hint when the space level 5 was opened. "Got it, big brother. I'll definitely do it well." Zheng Cheng promised Lin Lei. It was precisely because this time there were no tricks. After that, Lin Lei gave him more and more things to do. In the end, he became one of the few people in the country who started from scratch. This was all in the future. Lin Lei looked at the sky. It was going to be dark soon. She said goodbye to Zheng Cheng and rushed back with Song Yi. After getting into the car, Lin Lei was tired and fell asleep. Looking at her wife's sleeping face, she always knew that her wife had secrets. She did not know what kind of surprise she would give her next time. When they reached the factory, Song Yi woke his wife up. Lin Lei got out of the car and went to the car to take out all the things she would use the next day from her space. After parking the car, she put the things in the canteen. When they reached home, they each went to take a shower. After taking a shower in the space, Linley lay down and rested for more than an hour. Today's big purchase had filled the space with a lot of ingredients. Seeing that she had eaten 2 vegetarian these few days, she decided to cook 2 meat dishes, 1 braised fish and 1 braised meat. Because of the banquet, Linley had to choose about 2 caddies of big fish. The small fish weighed about 1 caddy. She had also bought a lot of good food for Xiaomi to eat. Thinking of Xiaomi, she was too tired today and came in to take a bath. What was this little guy doing? Linley chose a big fish and a small one. She removed the scales and internal organs, then marinated it with cooking wine, ginger, and soy sauce. She cut the picked pork belly into the size of a finger, washed it, and boiled the water for backup. Master, you finally came in. I sensed the energy stone today, so I want to find this for you. Xiaomi quickly ran towards Linley. Linley looked at the red agate bracelet in Xiaomi's mouth. Master, this is a bracelet. When you find the energy stone, it will heat up. If you take the bracelet off and put on the energy stone, it will emit the corresponding light. Xiaomi placed the bracelet in front of Linley and explained. Xiaomi, when did you sense it? Was it not long ago? The only special place that Linley wanted to go to today was that building. It was 5 stories high and very mysterious. Because she went in with Song Yi today, she felt that even if the sky fell, she would still have the feeling of Song Yi. That was why she dared to go in. The people inside were very strange. The people who sold things were strange. The people who bought things were also very strange. Just the people who collected their food gave people a mysterious feeling. There was also a strong murderous aura inside. There were many experts. This was the feeling that she had spent years on the edge of life and death. It was very strange. In such a small place, there was such a mysterious trading market. What kind of person was the boss behind it? Master, I didn't sense the specifics, so I went to the space and found this. Master will bring it with you the next time you go out. Previously, I thought that Master would meet an energy stone outside, and I could contact Master. Now it seems that the level of the space is too low. Xiaomi had a regretful expression on her face, and she lowered her head to express her sadness. If she had thought of this earlier, would she have been able to level up and leave the dimension today? Thinking about the delicacies outside, she was so angry that she scratched the ground with her claws. If the dimension could speak, it would definitely shout, "You're a glutton. Everything you do is for the sake of eating." Lin lay squatted on the ground and stroked Xiaomi, consoling her. Don't worry, Xiaomi. I'll go there again in the future. Besides, even if you said back then, I don't have the money to buy it. Lin Lei didn't know what Xiaomi wanted, so there was no point in being impatient. Xiaomi, don't think about it. I bought a lot of fish to make braised fish or sweet and sour fish for you to eat. Hearing the word fish, Xiaomi immediately revived and stood up. What should she do? She wanted to eat both kinds of fish. She didn't know what was wrong with her. She was originally in her space, so it was fine if she didn't eat anything. Perhaps her master's cooking was too delicious. Xiaomi found a good excuse for herself. She wagged her tail and said coquettishly to Lin Lei, "Make both kinds of fish. I want to eat both." Her small eyes were wet. If she didn't make it, her tears would fall. Lin Lei was so adorable. I'll make both, but I have to take some out to eat. I'm also going to make a braised pork with soy sauce. In braised pork with soy sauce, whatever master makes is delicious, Xiaomi exclaimed in her heart. After talking to Xiaomi, she got busy nervously. She was afraid that Song Yi would be anxious outside. Braised pork with soy sauce was her specialty. Song Yi would probably like to eat it. Song Yi did not see his wife when he came out of the shower, so he knew that she was probably cooking in the space. If only he could also enter the space. Now that he was left alone in the room, he suddenly found that it was very cold and quiet. The red braised fish had to be cut into pieces and then oil. The sweet and sour ones had to be covered with oil, so the oil temperature had to be controlled well. Otherwise, the outside would be too charred and the inside would not be cooked well. The 2 dishes of fish were prepared first, and Lin Lei gave Xiaomi some first. Xiaomi ate happily, and as she ate, she exclaimed how delicious it was. Lin Lei cooked rice in the rice cooker and scooped some for Xiaomi. Then, she prepared the braised pork with brown sauce, stir-fried it with sugar, stir-fried it, add the meat, and cook it with cooking wine. The food of the 1980s was not adulterated, and the smell of cooking wine was very fragrant. She stewed into the pot to collect the juice, put in the salt, and took out the MSG. All right, Xiaomi, I'll take the things in my space and sell them. If people outside eat them often, will there be any reaction? Lin Lei was afraid that Song Yi's condition would appear if they ate it for a long time, and that she would suffer if she got a strange disease. Master, it's fine. The spiritual energy will be almost gone in 2 hours after those things leave the space. Other than the taste, there shouldn't be much difference. Xiaomi took another bite of braised meat and added, "This is the same as medicine. The longer it stays in the space, the less effective the medicine will be. This is because there is no spiritual energy in the outside world." Lin Lei thought about the condition of Song Yi drinking the spiritual spring and asked, "Then can Song Yi continue drinking the spiritual spring water?" Xiaomi burped and stretched her waist comfortably. "Master, according to reason, the spiritual spring should be able to alleviate the symptoms once it is recuperated. However, seeing that his condition is serious and he is very comfortable after, it might be because of him. His body constitution is special. Master can continue to let him drink it and let him continue to expel it. The more he discharges, the better it will be for him in the future." Lin Lei nodded when she got the answer she wanted. Then, she took back the space that was mature and left the space. She saw Xiaomi lying there full of food. She smiled helplessly. This shameless foodie wasn't afraid of her stomach being full. Lin Lei left the space and placed the things she had prepared on the table. She entered the room and saw Song Yi lying on the bed reading a book. Because of the hot weather, he wasn't wearing a shirt, and his skin was tanned. Lin Lei felt a wave of heat. This demon was always seducing people. "Honey, it's time to eat. I made 2 new dishes today. Try them." Song Yi sensed it when his wife returned to her room. If he couldn't sense it, then all these years would have been in vain. He deliberately revealed his seductive side. Sure enough, his wife's face turned red. Her pink lips were so tender that she wanted to be kissed. Song Yi stood up and walked over to Lin Lei. He lowered his head and kissed her. "Let's eat. Wife, I'm going to try your new dish." Song Yi's deep voice sounded, and Lin Lei finally recovered from her daze. On the dining table, the 2 dishes should have 2 different flavors. That plate of braised pork was the one that attracted Song Yi's attention the most. The color was bright red, and the aroma was overflowing. Song Yi was the first to eat the meat. Once it entered his mouth, it melted, and the fat was not greasy. Then he tasted the fish in turn. He preferred sweet and sour fish, which was sweet and sour to appease his appetite. "How is it? Is it good? Does it suit your appetite? If it doesn't taste good, give me some advice, and I promise to correct it next time." This braised pork can be made into many flavors. If you like it heavy, it could be a little salty. If you like it sweet, you can also add some sugar. Lin Lei saw that Song Yi only tasted it and did not say anything. Was it not to his appetite? Did he like vegetarian food? If she had known earlier, she would have cooked a vegetarian dish. In her space, vegetables were delicious when they were fried with oil. Usually, her favorite food was stir-fried vegetables. Of course, it would be even more delicious if she put some meat in it. Song Yi did not see his wife when he came out of the shower, so he knew that she might be cooking in the space. It would be great if he could also enter the space. Now that he was left alone in the room, he suddenly found that it was very cold. The braised fish had to be cut into pieces and greased. The sweet and sour fish had to be covered in oil. The oil temperature had to be controlled well, otherwise the outside would be too burnt and the inside would not be cooked well. The 2 dishes of fish were prepared first. Lin Lei gave Xiaomi some first. Xiaomi ate happily and exclaimed how delicious it was as she ate. Lin Lei cooked rice in the rice cooker and scooped some for Xiaomi. Then, she prepared the red braised meat and stir-fried it with sugar. After stir-frying it, she added the meat and boiled it with cooking wine. The food from the 1980s was not adulterated. The smell of cooking wine was very fragrant. She stewed it in the pot to collect the juice, put in salt, and then the MSG was out of the pot. All right, Xiaomi, I'll take the things in my space and sell them. If people outside eat them often, will there be any reaction? Lin Lei was afraid that Song Yi's condition would happen if they ate them for a long time. She would think that she was suffering from strange disease. Master, it's fine. The spiritual energy will be almost gone in 2 hours after those things are out of the space. Other than the taste, there shouldn't be much difference. Xiaomi took another bite of braised pork and added, "This is the same as the pharmacology. The longer it is left, the less effective it is because there is no spiritual energy in the outside world." Lin Lei thought about how Song Yi drank the spiritual spring water and asked, "Then can Song Yi continue drinking the spiritual spring water?" Xiaomi burped and stretched her waist comfortably. Master, according to reason, the spirit spring should be able to alleviate the symptoms once. But seeing that his condition is serious and he is very comfortable after, perhaps it is because of his special constitution, Master can continue to give him to drink and let him continue to expel. The more he discharges, the better it will be for him in the future. Lin Lei nodded after getting the answer that she wanted, and then she stored the space that was mature once more before leaving the space. She saw Xiaomi lying there full of food. She smiled helplessly. This shameless foodie was not afraid of her stomach being full. Lin Lei left the room and placed the prepared food on the table. She entered the room and saw Song Yi lying on the bed reading a book. Because of the hot weather, he did not wear a shirt and had a tan complexion. Lin Lei thought to herself that this demon was constantly seducing people. "Hubby, it's time to eat. I made 2 new dishes today. Try them." Okay. On the dining table, the 2 dishes of fish should have 2 different flavors. That plate of braised pork was the one that attracted Song Yi's attention the most. The color was bright red, and the fragrance was overflowing. Song Yi was the first to eat the meat. Once it entered his mouth, it melted and the fat was not greasy. He then tasted the fish in turn. He preferred sweet and sour fish, which was sweet and sour to appease his appetite. "How is it? Is it good? Does it suit your appetite? If it doesn't taste good, give me some advice. I promise to correct it next time." This red braised meat can be made into many flavors. If you like it heavy, it will be salty. If you like it sweet, you can put some sugar in it. Lin Lei saw that Song Yi only tasted it and did not say anything. Was it not to his appetite he liked to eat vegetarian food? If she had known earlier, she would have cooked a vegetarian dish in her space. In her space, vegetables were delicious when they were fried with oil. Usually, she liked to eat fried vegetables the most. Of course, it would be even more delicious if she put some meat in it. Song Yi raised his head and looked at his wife. He deliberately paused for a moment before saying with a smile, "It's delicious. Look at how scared you are. I like this meat and sweet and sour fish." Lin Lei heaved a sigh of relief. She thought to herself, as the old saying goes, the more you like someone, the more you like them. The more you care about the other party's feelings, the more reasonable this saying was. "Eat more. I have something to tell you after you finish eating." Song Yi wanted to know what it was, but he was afraid that it would affect his wife's mood while eating. Seeing that his wife was eating happily, he quickly started eating. Lin Lei stopped eating after eating 2 bowls of rice. Song Yi ate the rest. "Honey, I have a spiritual pet in my space. It says that you should continue drinking the spiritual spring to detoxify yourself. It's good for the future. The first time I used it was in a bath. I soaked in it for more than 10 hours. Thinking of Xiaomi's medicinal theory, the longer he left the space, the faster the spiritual energy would disappear. He then added to Song. Xiaomi said that the spiritual energy would disappear after the food left the space for 2 hours. I don't think there's any spring water. With a special container, the spiritual energy should also disappear easily. Song Yi nodded and felt that what his wife said made sense. If he wanted to become stronger and protect his wife in the future, what was the little bit of pain he felt after drinking it? Also, his wife had such a heaven-defying thing, so she would definitely have a very high status in the future. He didn't want to be the man behind his wife. If a man stronger than him appeared, he would have to have a bargaining chip to compete with. "I know. Take out the spring water and let me drink it." This little bit of pain is nothing to me who has been training regularly. Song Yi comforted his wife, not wanting her to worry. Besides, the pain was nothing to him. Only when he experienced the pain would he remember the next time. This was a principle that he had known since he was young. Lin Lei took out a bowl of spring water from her space and handed it to Song Yi. If Song Yi couldn't hold on halfway, he would remember that there were still painkillers in the space. Only then would he feel relieved. Wife, other than the spring water, what else is there? Song Yi drank the spring water. He felt that this was the only thing that wouldn't make his wife look so serious. After all, he had already cued twice before. Hubby, you're really observant. Xiaomi said that at the place we went today, she sensed the energy stone and gave me this. After saying that, Lin Lei took off the bracelet she was wearing and placed it on the table. She looked at Song Yi and added, if you're referring to a bracelet that's close to you, it will heat up. If you want to see if there's an energy stone inside, put it on top. If it's an energy stone that you need, it will emit the corresponding light. When Song Yi heard that, he immediately understood Mom Ming. He had gone to a few places today, and they were the underground trading market. There might have been energy stones there, but he had not entered that place rashly. Song Yi had found a gun in the hands of one of his subordinates who was buying food. Although the bunch of silly kidnappers were very weak, the people inside did not feel weak. Some of them must have seen blood on their hands. Wife, don't enter recklessly without me accompanying you. Although you have space, what if there is something inside that could suppress space? Song Yi's tone was urgent as he tried to reason with his wife. Space was heaven-defying. There were energy stones that it needed, and there might be something that could suppress it. There were all sorts of strange things in the greater world, and no one knew what would happen at that moment, however. With him around, as long as he did not die, he would not let anyone hurt his wife. Song Yi secretly swore in his heart. Lin Lei looked at Song Yi's serious look and was in a good mood. She smiled and said, I understand. I'm not 100% sure from your words. I won't go. I don't have enough money, goods, and manpower. I won't have any ideas about the energy stone, at least not now. I'll boil some hot water for you and let you take a good bath. Song Yi thought to himself. Tomorrow, he would go to the factory to look at the list of people who had been fired. He would choose a few old-fashioned people to follow his wife. He didn't have that kind of pedantic idea. If his wife was close to a man, they would have to fight and get a divorce. In front of all the rumors and gossip, none of them were as important as his wife's hair. Suddenly, he felt his body sweating. It didn't hurt as much as last time, but it was sweating. Sweat dripped down his hair, and his body had an indescribable feeling. Lin Lei put the water on the gas stove and suddenly eliminated the bathroom shower equipment. However, in this dilapidated building, it was unrealistic to replace the home with modern household appliances, not to mention that she didn't have a water heater in her own space. In the bathroom, there was an iron bucket hanging from the top. There was a small water pipe under it, which was connected to the bottom. When it was used, it would be released, and when it was not used, it would be blocked. Song Yi was drenched in sweat, but he still insisted on sitting there. If he didn't release all of his sweat, he wouldn't be able to wash himself clean. Lin Lei used a towel to wipe Song Yi's eyes from time to time. After nearly an hour, Song Yi went into the bathroom and came out after half an hour. Honey, how do you feel? Lin Lei immediately walked forward and looked at Song Yi with concern, worried that something bad would happen. It's okay, honey. I just feel that there's a flow of air in my body, and I feel very comfortable walking. Song Yi felt very painful every time, but the effect was good after the event. He used to run 10 kilometers and sometimes had to stop to rest, but now he didn't sweat at all. His body's agility had become much faster, and he didn't know what it would be like after all the purification. He was very looking forward to it. Lin Lei shouted at the door, Hubby, come in and sleep quickly. It's almost 10 o'clock. What time does the party start tomorrow? Lin Lei made the bed while Song Yi was in a daze. As long as this idiot could be in a daze, it would be fine. It was better to go to bed early. He still had things to do tomorrow. Song Yi heard his wife calling him and went back to his room to lie down. Tomorrow, you can go to the cafeteria at 8 o'clock in the morning. Ask them to help you wash and cut your things. You could be responsible for frying. We'll set the table in the small cafeteria at noon. Okay, I got it. Let's go to sleep to replenish our strength. Lin lay on her side and fell asleep. Song Yi also fell asleep after Lin Lei fell asleep. Lin Lei woke up at 5 a.m. and got off the ground. She went into space and made rice for Song Yi. She used meat to make meat sauce and prepared Song Yi to eat with rice. She made 2 caddies of meat sauce and fried a plate of broccoli fried meat slices for herself. Then she mixed it with pickles. She made a soup with eggs and tomatoes. Honey, it's time to eat and get up, Lin Lei shouted as she set the table. Song Yi heard the shouts and immediately came out of the house. When he saw the table full of food, he swallowed his saliva. Wife, why aren't you tired after cooking so much? Hubby, it's fine. Eat as much as you can. Song Yi recalled the porridge he had eaten the last time. He had indeed gone to the army and was hungry in less than 2 hours. His wife was the most considerate. The two of them sat down to eat. Lin Lei watched as Song Yi filled her bowl with sauce and poured more than half of the pot of rice. That was 2 bowls of rice cooked with rice. He ate it all into his stomach. Lin Lei watched as Song Yi ate bit by bit and then drank 2 big bowls of egg soup. She was really afraid that he would last until he was full. Song Yi ate contentedly until it was almost 7 o'clock. He went into the house and put on his clothes. Wife, I'm going to work first. You can go at 8 o'clock. Lin Lei nodded to show that she understood. Seeing that Song Yi had eaten more than half of the meal, she silently ridiculed in her heart. Everything about a Prince Charming was fleeting. In front of life, a Prince Charming had the least moral integrity. After Lin Lei finished eating, she tidied up the house. Seeing that it was almost time, she went to the cafeteria. Old Zhao was already waiting at the door. When he saw Lin Lei coming over, he quickly walked over. Sister-in-law, come with me. We need to wash, cut, and clean up. What do you think we should cook? Lin Lei went in to look at the things and called for 2 people to get busy. First, she let them cut the pig's head with soy sauce. Then, she used the ingredients chosen from the canteen's ingredients to make the gravy. It took a long time to cook. It was time to cook the fish. The canteen's pot was very big, and the fire was good too. First, the fish was fried and prepared. When the meal was ready, the gravy was poured over. The braised meat was already cut, and Lin Lei could cook it. The other 2 vegetarian dishes were often cooked by the canteen, so Lin Lei let them cook them. When Lin Lei cooked the 3 meat dishes, she did not hide anything. She told them everything that old Zhao asked. In the eyes of the chefs, Lin Lei was no different from the brigade commander. Cooking was the most important thing in a chef's life, and someone was willing to guide him. This was like the grace of remaking. The canteen chefs did not have much training, and they did not have much cooking skills. They just poured the dishes into the pot, added salt, and boiled them as long as they did not boil them. Today, Lin Lei handed them meat dishes and practiced them well. She could cook them for her family or open her own snack stand. Therefore, after that, as long as Lin Lei came to the canteen to cook, she would always get the most dishes for her alone. When it was almost 12 o'clock in the afternoon, it was basically done. All that was left was Lin Lei's kimchi. Lin Lei found a place with no one and went back to her space to get a jar of kimchi. She also changed her clothes. It was her first time showing her face, so of course, she had to dress appropriately. Seeing Song Yi's subordinates and leaders, she couldn't be too casual. Seeing that there was a chi pao in the space, she put it on. It wasn't a satin chi pao, but made of cotton and linen, with a faint white peony pattern on the outside. The slit at the bottom was a little deep, so Lin Lei sewed it up and tied up her hair to put on some light makeup. The place Lin Lei chose was very remote, but in the end, she still made a mistake. When she came out, a worker happened to pass by. Li Jian turned his head and saw that he was 2 meters away, and suddenly, there was a beautiful woman, and there was a jar next to it. He wondered when there was such a beautiful girl behind him, but he didn't see her. This girl had a good figure. She had a curvy front and a curvy back. Her small face was also very delicate. She looked like she was going to the canteen. Was she a relative of someone in the canteen? Then, did he have a chance? Whether he had a chance or not, he should go up and get to know her. Then, he would decide whether he had a chance or not. Looking at the girl in the distance, Li Jian shouted, "Girl in front, Stop right there. I'll help you take your things. Lin Lei stopped and looked back at the man who was shouting. It was obvious that she did not know him. Who are you? My name is Li Jian. I am the leader of the maintenance class. Miss, I'm not a bad person. I can help you carry your things. Li Jian put on a proper smile. He wanted to get to know the girl in front of him and see what opportunities there were in the future. Although this man looked good, his eyes were too exaggerated, and his eyes never left her breasts. Lin Lei had seen too many men like this in the apocalypse. Whenever she encountered something that was disadvantageous to her, whether it was her parents, brothers, wife, or children, she could sacrifice them all. Lin Lei shook her head. No need, thank you. It's not far from here. Li Jian listened to Lin Lei's explanation in a gentle tone. When he saw that he only glanced at her, he withdrew his gaze. This girl was a delicate flower with thorns. It was rare for her to slap his face the first time she saw him. He wanted to see what kind of status she had. If her relative's position was lower than his, he would definitely get her. He wanted to see how high and mighty she would be lying under him. Li Jian nodded. All right, that girl. I'll be leaving first. My brother in front is promoting to deputy factory manager to hold a party. He turned around and left. This was his usual trick. If she wanted to stay away, he would not provoke her. He would just slowly attract her interest. Although Li Jian had been pretending to be gentle, a ruthless expression flashed across his eyes. Lin Lei caught it. This person was not simple. What was his relationship with Song Yi? Lin Lei hurried to the canteen. When she reached the door, she saw Song Yi waiting in the distance. Was this devil standing at the door like a peacock with its tail open? She even saw several young girls looking straight at him. Did he not notice at all? Taking the jar from his wife's hand, Song Yi saw that his wife's gaze was not right. Song Yi looked to the side and noticed that there were two female workers looking at him. When he came to the canteen, he did not see his wife. He knew that his wife should go back and change her clothes, so he waited here. His wife's outfit was really beautiful. It was elegant and refined. She walked over from afar like a blazing sun. It made the surrounding people pale in comparison. His wife was overthinking. He had her, so how could he tolerate others? Wife, this outfit is really good looking. Lin Lei's heart was filled with jealousy. Although she had lost weight compared to the little girls beside her, she had gained a lot of weight. Since ancient times, there had only been 100 beauties, right? Am I good looking, or are they good looking? After saying that, she looked at the two little girls over there. Of course they're the prettiest. Have you seen them? Song Yi explained anxiously. When the two girls saw Song Yi looking at them, they panicked. This monster. Let's go in quickly. We're waiting for the pickles to be served. Lin Lei walked in quickly, but the smile on her lips revealed her good mood. Song Yi followed in quickly. It was almost time, and everyone was here. At the corner, waiting to meet Li Jian with Lin Lei, she saw this scene. Did this girl like Song Yi? Didn't he know that Song Yi was married? Thinking about it, it made sense. Even Song Yi, that high and mighty person, was shameless because of Song Yi. Otherwise, how could he have succeeded? In the past few days, Song Yi had often stopped him. Oomph. She made him change his appearance after sleeping. Thinking back, he used to stay by her side like a dog. Since this girl was also like this, he would definitely be able to handle her. In other aspects, she was inferior to Song Yi, but his wife was good soon. He would open a kindergarten in the courtyard. His wife would be a teacher. When he heard that Song Yi had married Asao's wife, he would definitely see the expression on this girl's face when she saw Song Yi's wife. Lin Lei did not know that she had let people fantasize about her like this. In the kitchen, Lin Lei opened the jar. The fragrance filled the air and attracted everyone who was busy. Because it was too fragrant, they had not smelled such a strong fragrance for a long time. When the jar was opened, a wave of numbing fragrance came from inside. Lin Lei brought a jar of spicy pickled vegetables. About 10 people crowded around to look at the jar of pickled vegetables. Old Zhao coughed for a while before leaving. Sister-in-law, why is your mixed vegetables so fragrant? Old Zhao picked up his chopsticks. Little radish, it was obviously a very ordinary thing. How could it be so delicious? He had to know that it was really too delicious. He was from Sichuan. and he had always been partial to spicy food. Working in the Northeast, the taste of his mouth had almost faded out. That's it. Lin Lei told old Zhao every step in detail. However, old Zhao used ordinary vegetables, so it was not necessarily as spicy as her cooking. It was sweet and crisp. So there are so many things to pay attention to. I'm afraid I can't make it myself, sister-in-law. Old Zhao's face was gloomy, and he suddenly felt that he had nothing to live for. He usually mixed vegetables, and when he was done cutting them, he would pour all the seasonings in and mix them. Unlike sister-in-law, who actually chose the most tender part of the vegetables, how many vegetables would be wasted? I still have some at home. Tomorrow, I'll ask Song Yi to bring some for you to eat. Lin Lei whispered to old Zhao. She gave old Zhao pickles because she felt that he was a good person and very warm-hearted. She liked to eat them, but she was too embarrassed to ask for them, unlike some people who knew that others wouldn't give them to her. Yet, she still insisted on asking for things. P.S. The author has encountered this before. Their relationship was obviously very ordinary, but they always wanted this and that. If they didn't want to give it to her, then they would take it openly. Only when they had a falling out with her would it be over. Then thank you, sister-in-law. In the future, if you need anything from me, Elder Zhao, feel free to say anything. Elder Zhao thought to himself that it was so difficult to cook, and Lin Lei said that she would give it to him just from this point. He had truly acknowledged this sister-in-law. Now that resources were scarce, many of the married brothers didn't drink together anymore. The reason was that the burden of marriage was heavy, and his wife didn't allow it. This sister-in-law wasn't bad. Don't be so polite. I feel like it's about time for the dishes to be served. Lin Lei thought, wasn't it just a jar of pickled vegetables? There were plenty of space dishes that she loved to eat. Song Yi didn't say anything at the side. Looking at the interaction between his wife and old Zhao, he was very happy that his wife knew how to get along with people without being shy. Everyone helped to carry the dishes out. They saw that the small dining hall was basically full. They saw many military wives and children. When everyone saw Song Yi come over, they raised their wine glasses to congratulate him. Among the people who congratulated him, they actually saw the little white flower, Song Yi. Today, Song Yi was dressed meticulously. She wore a white dress, and her hair was all down. She had a pink hair clip on her head. After everyone finished congratulating her, she walked up to Song Yi and said, "Big brother Song, we're all in the past. Today, we're here to congratulate you on your promotion. This glass of wine is a toast to you. I hope you don't forget about my little sister." Lin Lei cursed in her heart. What did this little white flower mean? Did she think that a few words would be enough to sow discord between them? Or did she want Song Yi to be tarnished? The way men and women behave in the 1980s was very strict. If they were not careful, they might lose their jobs. She wanted to see how Song Yi would respond to this. A discordant voice came from the crowd, although it was very soft. Have you heard? This woman and Song Yi's relationship is not simple. A gossipy female voice came over. How come I haven't heard? But I heard that Song Yi married a fat daughter-in-law. She's a village girl. I don't know if she's coming. Another gossipy voice took over. Lin Lei carefully identified the voice and confirmed the direction of the conversation. She looked carefully and saw that it was two women dressed very casually, each with a child. Song Yi looked at the girl in front of him. Who exactly was she? How could he not have any impression of her? Who are you? Did we have any grudges before? Song Yi's heart was struck by lightning. He actually said that he did not know her and pretended to not know her. Why did they not quarrel? Why did it not develop as she had expected? She could not let this matter ruin herself and ruin other people's marriages. She had originally wanted to wait for them to quarrel. After that, she would explain. Now, they did not quarrel. It seemed like she could only embarrass herself. Big brother Song, did you guys misunderstand something? She turned around and said to everyone, the last time Big brother Song came in my place, I took the wrong medicine, so I came here today to apologize. I say, little girl, your words are too misleading. Didn't your family teach you what to say at any occasion? A woman in her 30s dressed the best among the group of women. Everyone, let's go and eat, Zhao Feng shouted from the side. Zhao Feng thought to himself, what is this little girl's motive? I have to investigate it when I get back. Song Yi shouted, wait, let me introduce my wife Lin Lei. Song Yi held Lin Lei's hand and introduced her to everyone. Luckily, his wife believed in him. His wife had only been here for less than half a month, and she was very happy that she believed in him. Also, those women shouldn't cause trouble in front of him, or else he wouldn't mind using special methods. Is this Song Yi's wife? Isn't the rumor that she is very fat? A very small voice muttered. Next to her should be her lover. When she heard her daughter-in-law muttering, she immediately pinched her with her hand to remind her not to speak anymore. Lin Lei was dressed very beautifully today. Her clothes were very nice, and her figure was fully revealed. Her waist should be very small, and her small belly did not have a trace of boiling flesh. Her chest was also not small. Was this the legendary fat wife from the countryside? Was that person blind? If she was called fat, then what were they? All the women complained in their hearts. Who was blind to this rumor? Li Jian almost crushed the wine glass in his hand. She was the rumored wife of Song Yi. No wonder Song Yi was so serious. Did he owe Song Yi in his previous life? Why was he better than them in everything? This Lin Lei has changed so much that I went to her house. When I gave her things, she was still very fat. Wang Mei whispered to Li Jian. Li Jian glanced at his wife. She was not as good-looking as him, and her figure was not good either. After giving birth, she had a round of meat. He was not holding it in, but he would not touch it. Now, he was still making sarcastic remarks. Then you should clean up well. Can't you change like this too? Li Jian shouted at his daughter-in-law. Luckily, they had been standing far away from the crowd. When they heard the noise, they turned around and only took a glance before turning back. Wang Mei had mixed feelings. How old was Lin Lei? How old was she? When she was 18 years old, she didn't even need to lose weight to reach 100 kilograms. However, this wasn't a place to quarrel, so she could only ignore Li Jian. Lin Lei followed Song Yi to table after table, and Song Yi introduced everyone to his daughter-in-law. When she introduced Zhao Feng, Lin Lei saw the big sister who spoke up for her just now. It wasn't suitable for her to speak in that situation. No matter what she said, it was as if there was something between them. So Lin Lei was very grateful to this big sister. Wife, this factory manager, Zhao, and his wife. Song Yi purposely came over to introduce this place. If it wasn't for Zhao Feng, he wouldn't have risen so quickly. The 1,000-mile horse also needed Bo Lu to think highly of it. Zhao Feng's wife sized up Lin Lei. This girl had a good temper. She was very calm at such a young age. If it was any other military wife, it wouldn't be so easy to solve this. She knew the girl from before. She was a nurse in the clinic, and what she said just now was very misleading. Song Yi's wife is sitting here eating. Let them drink, and let the men solve their own problems. Lin Lei glanced at Song Yi. Song Yi nodded, and Lin Lei sat down next to Mrs. Zhao. Song Yi continued to wave at the tables, without Lin Lei accompanying him. He avoided the women's tables, so he didn't have to go over. Song Yi watched as Song Yi walked around their table. Her face was calm, but her hands were tightly gripping the corner of the stool under the table, pinching it hard. Sister, what you said just now was too misleading. No wonder the factory manager's wife misunderstood. Eat something and don't get angry with yourself. I don't know who made the dishes today. They're too delicious. Song Xiaoxia picked up a piece of braised pork for Song Yi and deliberately told the other side of the story so that the others could hear. Song Yi was too busy thinking about things and didn't hear what Song Xiaoxia said at all. She shouldn't have come today. She had followed Song Xiaoxia's relationship to eat this meal. She had wanted to make a fool of Lin Lei, but in the end, she made a fool of herself. Thinking of the scene just now, she felt embarrassed. It was really embarrassing. The others at the table were busy eating the meat. The dishes today were too fragrant and the quantity was large. This meat dish couldn't be eaten at any time. In this year and age, food and meat were scarce, so the people at the table ate quickly. When old Zhao came up to add more dishes, he made people ask jokingly, "The dishes you made today were really good?" No, those two vegetable dishes were cooked by us. The meat dish and the mixed vegetables were cooked by Song Yi's wife. Old Zhao's voice was very loud. and almost half of the cafeteria heard it. After Song Yi finished his greeting, he went straight back to Lin Lei's side and sat down. This table was basically Brigade Commander Zhao's family. Song Yi's wife, this dish was made by you. It's really not bad, much better than the restaurants outside. Mrs. Sun said as she ate. She had just found out from talking to Lin Lei that she was Lin Feng's sister. It was a pity that Lin Feng had died too early. Not at all. I just like to eat and study more. Lin Lei replied softly. This person was very talkative. He was very considerate of other people's feelings. When he talked about his brother Lin Feng, his face was full of regret, which made her, an outsider, touched. Song Yi, old son should be moving away tomorrow. Go to the safe tomorrow and bring the key over. Zhao Feng drank a mouthful of wine. He was in a good mood after eating the food. Song Yi's wife's cooking was not bad, so it was better to move over earlier. He could also eat a few meals. His wife was good at everything except cooking. It was basically the same taste. All right, I got it. I'll go get the keys tomorrow and see what's missing. You have to give me leave. I'm going out to buy more stuff. I've already moved my stuff over. Song Yi didn't stand on ceremony with Zhao Feng and told him about his leave. What did his family want? He didn't have the time last time, but this time he had to buy it no matter what. You brat, you just got promoted and you're already asking for leave. Everyone is like you. After eating a mouthful of fish, he purposely paused and added, "It won't happen again." Song Yi knew that Zhao Feng would agree and he had to buy something for his wife. Song Yi also felt that the meat and vegetables were delicious today, and she couldn't stop eating. When I went to refill the rice, I heard that most of the dishes were cooked by Song Yi's wife. When Song Yi heard this, the rice choked in her throat, and she couldn't help but cough. She looked up and saw that it was Su Xiaoning who was talking. This dish was cooked by Song Yi's wife. Song Yi asked coldly, "Yeah, I didn't expect the rumors to be so ridiculous. Didn't I tell you? Song Yi is so good-looking, he won't find an ugly wife." Su Xiaoning looked at Song Yi with contempt. She hated this kind of girl. She thought she was arrogant because she was young and beautiful. Song Yi didn't notice the look in her eyes. She only felt a surge of anger. She was so angry that she felt sick. She covered her mouth and vomited. This little Yi really likes Song Yi. His wife looks beautiful and generous. Her cooking skills are really good. Zhang Qin saw Song Yi run out and sighed. The little girl was not bad, but she was too stupid. She couldn't be forced. Everyone ate a full meal. Before they left, they thanked Song Yi and praised Song Yi for marrying a good wife. Song Yi held his wife's hand and went home. He entered the house, closed the door, hugged his wife, and kissed her. Lin Lei felt Song Yi's enthusiasm and kissed him back passionately. Only when they felt that their breathing was not smooth did they let go. "Wife, we have a new house and it's ready. Let's consummate the marriage." Song Yi felt that his body was extremely hot. If his wife said that she did not agree, he would force her to do it now. Lin Lei blushed and was embarrassed to answer. She immediately nodded and ran back to the house to change her clothes. Song Yi was stunned. His daughter-in-law had agreed. He was so happy. After he reacted, he quickly went back to the house. He did not notice how the door was left ajar when it was not closed. When he pushed it open, he saw that his daughter-in-law had almost taken off her clothes. Her snow-white skin. A piece of clothing flew over and covered Song Yi's head. Only then did he calm down. Lin Lei saw that Song Yi had come in. She was only flustered for a moment. When she reacted, she threw the clothes that she had taken off over. "I haven't seen enough. You go out, I'll change." Lin Lei felt that it was okay for him to see her. Since she had already agreed to consummate the marriage, she wouldn't be unreasonable. Before talking about herself, she had also looked at him quite often. Song Yi left the house, feeling that he was about to catch fire. He needed to take a cold shower. Fortunately, his wife had agreed, so it would only take a few days. When Li Jian returned home from the canteen, he found nothing pleasing to his eyes. This home was too messy. The children's things were everywhere. Wang Mei was lazy to clean up. Piles of junk were everywhere. Seeing her daughter-in-law change her clothes when she got home, she became even more displeased. What was she wearing? It was obvious that she was a village woman. It was too hot when Wang Mei got home, so she changed it to a tank top and put on boxers. Knowing that Li Jian was unhappy, she was still unhappy and scolded her in front of everyone. They had been married for more than 10 years, and with his meager salary, he had to take care of the children and take care of his parents. How could it not be saved from her? She also wanted to wear good makeup and take care of herself. She had to be rich. Zhao Feng went home and made a pot of tea. He had eaten too much today and was a little full. Little Jing, the girl who talked to little E at the party today. Do you know where she works in the army? Su Jingyan had just finished washing her hair and wrapped it with a towel. I know. The little nurse at the health center might have taken a liking to little E. Now she's angry that Lily got married and wants to mess things up. Old Zhao nodded his head. Song, E was the one who brought him out. Luckily, the matter was settled. The factory's performance wasn't very good and was facing a large number of layoffs. As the factory director, he also had a headache. Zhao Feng had 2 children in total. He liked to study and didn't like to be a worker. Ever since he found Song Yi in the factory, he had taken him as his son. Song Yi was very talented and was born to be a leader. He couldn't be ruined by such a thing. Thinking of this, Zhao Feng made a decision in his heart. He would transfer Song Yi out of the factory as soon as possible. Song Yi didn't know that today's actions had caused her work to go to waste. Song Yi finished throwing up and didn't return to the canteen. If she did, it would be a joke. Thinking about how she had sacrificed so much for Song Yi and lost her innocence, all she got in return was disgust, coldness, and ridicule. Was it worth it? She asked herself in her heart, but there was no way out. With her innocence gone, what else could she find? No, she couldn't give up. After all, she had nothing left. She would go find Li Jian tomorrow, and she had to let him make a decision. Lin Lei finished changing her clothes and saw that Song Yi was taking a shower. He wouldn't come out for a short period of time, so she went into the space to take a shower. Xiaomi was very happy to see Lin Lei come in. After she finished harvesting the grains in the space and planting the seeds, she said goodbye to Xiaomi and came out, saying that she would come in later to cook delicious food. After taking a shower, Song Yi didn't see his wife. He just lay on the bed and read a book. He was indeed very disappointed. When Lin Lei came out, she saw a picture of a handsome man. It was pleasing to the eye. If only the handsome man would look at her again. Was the book that good he didn't even look up at her? Hubby, I'm done washing up. What book are you reading? Machinery. Song Yi replied coldly with a gloomy look in his eyes. She had just taken a cold shower. When she returned to her room and saw that there was no wife in the room, she felt very uncomfortable. Her wife didn't even tell her when she entered the space. She felt inexplicably disappointed. When Lin Lei heard Song Yi's cold answer, she thought, did Song Yi come back in the past? Why was he angry? Why was he angry when she left? He was taking a shower because she threw his clothes away. How petty. Lin Lei had no choice. She was the one who made people angry, but she had never done such a thing as coaxing. If only there was a computer in this era, she could Google it. Should she ask him to throw it back, there were no clothes on her, so she could only take off her own clothes. Fortunately, she was wearing 2, so she could just take off one. Lin Lei came out in 2 pajamas. She untied her belt and took off her coat. There was a long suspenders inside. Song Yi had been looking at his wife from the corner of his eyes. Suddenly, he saw his wife take off her clothes, revealing the pure white undergarments inside. Here you go. Lin Lei passed the clothes to Song Yi, looking at him with a stingy gaze. What? Why are you giving me clothes? Looking at Song Yi's cold and aloof expression, he really deserved a slap. Seeing that he did not take the clothes, he thought angrily in his heart, didn't I just throw clothes all over your face, male chauvinism? Who told you not to knock when you entered the door? You've seen everything of me. Song Yi looked at his wife, who was fuming with anger. Because of the anger in his chest, there was more leakage. Wife, did you misunderstand something? Aren't you angry with me? Didn't I just throw clothes all over your face? Male chauvinism. Lin Lei raised her eyebrows and said angrily, Wife, I'm not mad at you. I'm mad at you. You didn't tell me when you entered the space. Do you know how disappointed I was when I came out to see that you weren't here? Song Yi looked at his wife with a wronged expression. This silly girl, was he that petty? In the blink of an eye, her Prince Charming turned into a silly and cute little pet. She really wanted to beat him to death? The factory wasn't doing very well and was facing a large number of layoffs. As the factory manager, he also had a headache. Zhao Feng had a total of 2 children. He liked to study and didn't like to be a worker. Ever since he found Song Yi in the factory, he had taken him as his son. Song Yi was an excellent natural leader, and he couldn't be ruined by such a thing. Thinking of this, Zhao Feng made a decision in his heart to transfer Song Yi out of the factory as soon as possible. Song Yi didn't know that today's actions had caused her work to be ruined. Song Yi threw up all the food in her stomach and did not return to the canteen. If she went back, it would be a joke. She thought about how she had sacrificed so much for Song Yi. She had lost her innocence, and all she got in return was disgust, indifference, and ridicule. Was it worth it? She asked herself, but there was no way out. If her innocence was gone, what else could she look for? No, she could not give up. After all, she had nothing left. She would go look for Li Jian tomorrow. She had to let him make a decision. Lin Lei finished changing her clothes and saw that Song Yi was taking a shower. He would not come out for a short period of time, so she went into the space to take a shower. Xiaomi was very happy to see Lin Lei come in. After collecting all the food in the space and planting the seeds, she said goodbye to Xiaomi and came out, saying that she would come in later to cook delicious food. After taking a shower, Song Yi didn't see his wife. He just lay on the bed and read a book. He was indeed very disappointed. When Lin Lei came out, she saw a picture of a handsome man. It was pleasing to the eye. If only the handsome man would look at her again. Was the book that good? He didn't even raise his head to look at her. Hubby, I'm done taking shower. What book are you reading? Mechanical Aspects. Song Yi's eyes were gloomy as he replied coldly. He had just taken a cold shower. When he returned to his room and saw that there was no wife in the room, he felt very uncomfortable. His wife had entered the space without informing him. He felt an inexplicable sense of loss in his heart. After hearing Song Yi's cold reply, Lin Lei thought to herself, did Song Yi come back in the past? Why is he angry? Why is he angry? Was he showering when I left because I threw his clothes away? This petty. Lin Lei had no choice. Who asked her to make others angry? However, she had never done such a thing as coaxing others. If only there was a computer in this era, she could search it on Baidu. Should she ask him to throw it back? Song Yi had been looking at his wife from the corner of his eye. Suddenly, he saw his wife take off her clothes, revealing the pure, white undergarment underneath. Here, Lin Lei handed the clothes to Song Yi and looked at him with a stingy gaze. What? Why are you giving me clothes? Looking at Song Yi's cold and aloof expression, he really deserved a slap. Seeing that he did not take the clothes, he thought angrily in his heart, isn't it just throwing clothes all over your face male chauvinism? Who asked you to enter the door without knocking? I've been seen by you. Song Yi looked at his wife, who was fuming. His chest was leaking even more because of his anger. Wife, did you misunderstand something? Aren't you angry with me? Didn't I just throw your clothes all over your face? Male chauvinism. Lin Lei raised her eyebrows and said angrily, Wife, I'm not angry about that. I'm angry at you. You didn't tell me when you entered the space. Do you know how disappointed I was when I came out to see that you weren't there? Song Yi looked at his wife with an aggrieved expression. This silly girl, was he that petty? In the blink of an eye, her Prince Charming had turned into a cute little pet. She really wanted to beat him to death? Looking at Song Yi's cute expression, most of Lin Lei's anger had subsided. Just a moment ago, she had a cold and aloof face, but now she looked pitiful. Lin Lei got on the bed and rubbed Song Yi's face with both hands. As she rubbed, she complained, I'll let you bully me. Watch how I'll teach you a lesson. Looking at his wife's angry expression, she looked even cuter. She felt that she should do something. Song Yi suddenly moved and attacked his wife with his right hand. Lin Lei looked at his hand, turned around, and dodged. She looked at Song Yi provocatively, and then continued to observe his next move. He did not expect his wife to react so quickly. Song Yi quickly attacked again. After Lin Lei dodged, she kicked Song Yi's lower body hard, but he dodged it in an instant. The two of them fought back and forth on this bed. It could be said that they did not give in to each other. The things on the bed were thrown to the ground as the two of them fought. From the initial easy treatment to the serious fight, The two of them wanted to beat each other down on the bed. Song Yi only reacted based on instinct. When he was young, he often fought with others and trained his skills. Lin Lei was different. She had been on the brink of life and death before, and her moves were very spicy, directly hitting his vital points. Song Yi had to admit that his speed in dealing with his wife was getting slower and slower. Several times, his wife kicked him, which made him feel very amazed. Lin Lei felt that it was meaningless to fight like this. Her clothes kept falling off, and she raised her left leg to kick, trying to get off the bed. Song Yi dodged the quick counterattack and wanted to grab his wife's shoulder, but his wife was too fast and caught him. His wife's clothes instantly tore her sleeve. Song Yi, you scoundrel. If you can't beat me, you'll tear my clothes. Only then did Song Yi come to his senses. He was a little reckless and hurriedly tried to get off the bed. Clang! A loud sound rang out. The bed was broken. This bed was too old to begin with. Usually, when they got on the bed and lay down, it didn't look very sturdy. After the very hot fight between the two of them just now, the bed was completely destroyed. The situation was extremely miserable. The two of them looked at each other awkwardly. They didn't know what to do next. Dong dong. There was a loud knock on the door, and the two of them were suddenly at a loss. Song Yi, what are you two doing? Are you demolishing the house? Sun Li asked loudly from outside. This building was not well decorated, and usually anyone could hear something falling. Just as she was cleaning up the house, she heard the sound of something falling next door. There were many times when she did not know what the two of them were doing, and the sound became louder and louder. She felt that the wall was a little loose, and she almost thought that there was an earthquake. Just as they were about to knock on the door, a loud noise came from upstairs and downstairs. They should have heard it. What were the two of them doing? Could it be that they were fighting because of what happened in the afternoon? Could it be that someone died the more they thought about it? The more they were afraid that the knocking speed would become faster. They were worried that something had happened inside. Sun Li's shouting was too loud. If they did not resolve it, outsiders would hear it. Lin Lei immediately tidied up her clothes and went out to open the door. Before she went out, she glared at Song Yi fiercely. Watch how I'll deal with you later. Song Yi touched his face, which was covered in sweat from the fight. It had been a long time since he had fought with an opponent like this. Looking at the mess in the room, he helplessly squatted down and tidied up. Before Lin Lei opened the door, she pulled up her clothes again. She tidied up her hair so that no one could see anything, so she reached out to open the door. The room door opened and saw Sun Li. Lin Lei, who was outside the door, had an anxious look on her face. She was very touched. It's okay. Just now I found a flying bug at home. I was inside fighting the bug. Lin Lei's face did not turn red, but her heart did not skip a beat. She could not tell the couple that they were fighting on the bed. That would become the joke of the factory, and the bed would be ruined. She remembered that other people were looking at her strangely. Yes, they were fighting the bug. If Song Yi dared to say anything, he would beat him into a bug. Sun Li saw that Lin Lei's clothes were undamaged, and her face was fine. Could she really be fighting the bug? Although she suspected that they were not fighting the bug, seeing that Lin Lei was fine on the surface, she should be fine. It could not be that Lin Lei was fighting Song Yi in the house. Then I'll go back. If you have time, go buy some medicine. There are many bugs in summer. After saying that, Sun Li turned around and went back into the house. She thought to herself, thank goodness it wasn't a fight between husband and wife. Lin Lei closed the door and went back into the house. She saw Song Yi take out the leg of the bed and put the bedboard on the ground. He was putting the blanket on top of it. Humph, I'm letting you bully me. Didn't I just touch you a few times? How was it? Did it hurt when I hit you? Lin Lei was proud in her heart. Although Song Yi could hit, she was not bad herself. It was just that her clothes were uncomfortable. Otherwise, she could have hit him a few more times. Wife, that was my normal reaction. Any man would pounce on you. Song Yi looked wronged and continued to add, we've been married for so long. Is it easy for me to endure it? After cleaning up, Song Yi directly sat on the bed and looked at his wife with a resentful gaze. HMPH, don't try to twist logic. I've already promised you. Do you want to go back on your word? Lin Lei argued forcefully. She did think that she had let him down a little. He just wanted to suppress her. She did not do anything, so why did she fight with him? No, why would I go back on my words? It's my fault. Why don't you hit me a few more times? I promise I won't fight back. Song-yi replied carefully. It wasn't easy for his wife to agree to consummate the marriage, so he had to coax her. In the fight just now, it was too difficult for him to forcefully suppress his wife and not get hurt. His right leg was kicked a few times by his wife. It hurt too much. Idiot, I regret it. Lin Lei replied. What? Wife, you regret it? Did it hurt? I asked you to hit me a few times. Song-yi anxiously walked towards his wife. I'm not going to hit you. If you want to consummate your marriage, you have to promise me one thing, Lin Lei said proudly. Promise you what? Wife, Song-yi continued to ask. Just now, he had hit her too hard because he had enjoyed himself too much. His wife was used for pain, but not for hitting. Although his wife was very good at fighting, looking at the overbearing man in front of him, he was changing little by little for him. He was so nervous that he had to answer. Lin Lei stretched out her right hand and touched Song-yi's face. She said very seriously, before consummating our marriage, let's fight. Whoever wins will be on top. When Song-yi heard this, he really wanted to say, even if you don't want to fight, I'll let you be on top. However, a man's pride could not be put down just like that. Moreover, he also wanted to know who was stronger between himself and his wife. All right, just as my wife said, if my wife wins, I'll add one more rule. In the future, everything in the family will be decided by my wife. The two of them looked at each other and made a promise. Lin Lei saw that it was almost 5 o'clock and her stomach was hungry. She had to hurry and cook. I'm going to the space to cook. You rest for a while first, then clean up the house for me. Song-yi nodded and went to lie down on the bed that he had just tidied up. He thought that from tomorrow onwards, he would have to double his training. He could not lose to his wife. The main thing was that this was the first time. He did not want to be suppressed by his wife. This was related to a man's pride. He could not give in on this point.